You've probably walked past someone with more money than you'll ever see and had absolutely no idea. That's the whole point. There are two kinds of rich, and only one of them needs you to notice. Loud wealth buys things that announce you. The watch turned just right so it catches the light. The car in the driveway that exists mostly to be seen from the street. Quiet wealth buys something completely different. And the freest thing it ever buys is the thing nobody can see at all. This video is your life, climbing a 9-level ladder from the very first dollar you decide not to spend, all the way to the point where the wealth disappears completely. And I'm going to show you exactly what each level feels like from the inside, what move actually gets you to the next one, and why most people get comfortable somewhere in the middle and never realize the climb quietly stopped. The mechanics are real. Index funds, debt payoff strategies, tax-advantaged accounts, passive income. But this isn't a how-to list. It's a walk through your own life, one rung at a time. Let's go. Level 1. The first quiet dollar? You don't have money yet. What you have is the thing that comes before money, and almost nobody talks about it because it isn't exciting. You have $100 you've decided not to touch. That's the whole level. Nothing in your life looks like wealth right now. You rent, your car makes a sound it probably shouldn't. The account dips close to zero before payday, the way it does for most people, but something shifted recently. You opened a second account at a bank you don't normally use, somewhere a little annoying to transfer money out of, and you put $100 in it and left it there. Nobody knows you did this. That's what makes it the first quiet dollar. It buys you nothing you can hold. It changes nothing anyone can see. A loud person at this stage spends the 100 on something that photographs well, because at this income level, the temptation to look like you're doing fine is strongest of all. You didn't. You let it sit. The actual move here is brutally simple, and most people never make it. You automate one transfer the day money hits your account, $50, an amount so small you genuinely won't feel it leave. $50 a week is $2,600 a year, built entirely out of dollars. You would not have noticed spending. You're not investing yet. You're not saving for anything specific. You're doing one thing only, proving to yourself that money can come into your life and not immediately leave through the same door it entered. That proof is the quietest thing wealth ever buys you, and it's the foundation for everything above this point. Level 2, the buffer. Something breaks. The tire, the tooth, the laptop, a call from a family member who needs help right now. And for the first time in your adult life, it isn't a crisis. You don't feel the floor drop. You don't lie awake doing the math of which bill gets skipped this month to cover the thing that just happened. You move money from the quiet account. You handle it, and you go back to sleep. You have $1,000 set aside. Maybe a little more. No financial advisor would call you wealthy, but here's something almost nobody talks about. The single most expensive thing in a poor person's life isn't rent, and it isn't food. It's emergency pricing, the overdraft fee, the payday loan, the credit card interest on a balance you took on because the thing was happening now and you had nothing behind you, the cost of having no choice but to say yes to the worst possible terms. The same flat tire that's a quiet inconvenience to you is, to the person one level down, the first domino in an eviction 2 months out. Same tire, same price, completely different life, decided entirely by whether there was $1,000 standing between you and the world. And here's what nobody sees from the outside. You don't act any differently. You wear the same clothes. You drive the same car. The buffer is invisible. The only person who knows it's there is you. And that quiet knowledge is the first time wealth ever sits in your chest as calm instead of sitting on your wrist as a thing. Level 3, the exit from the treadmill. The buffer held. So you went further, and you did the unglamorous work that almost nobody finishes. You killed the debt. You wrote every balance down with the interest rate beside it. You ignored which one made you feel worst, and attacked the one bleeding you fastest. because the math doesn't care about your feelings, and you decided to stop letting it. This is called the avalanche method. Highest interest rate first, every extra dollar going there until it's gone, then rolling that payment into the next one. You cut the phone plan, cooked at home, refinanced what could be refinanced, and you stopped completely borrowing against a future paycheck to fund a present you couldn't actually afford. And one ordinary morning, it's done. The interest that used to eat your money before you'd even earned it isn't there anymore. For the first time, the full paycheck is yours. But here's where most people immediately spend their way back onto the treadmill. The raise comes and the lifestyle rises to meet it. The bonus arrives and gets spent before it clears. They confuse making more with being free, and those are not the same thing. The treadmill doesn't care how fast you run. It's still a treadmill. You stepped off quietly. Nobody threw you a party for paying off a credit card, but you now own something the loud spenders one level up will never have while they're busy looking wealthy. A gap. Money comes in, less goes out than before, and the difference is yours to aim. That gap is the engine of everything above this point. Everyone who built real money built it first, and almost everyone who looks rich without actually being rich skipped it entirely. Level 4. The first money that works. You took the gap and you pointed it at the future. Not dramatically. You didn't pick stocks or chase anything. You got the full employer match first, because turning down a match is turning down free money, and roughly 1 in 4 employees still do exactly that. Then you opened one account, set one automatic contribution into one boring low-fee index fund, something like VTI or VOO, and you did the hardest thing in investing, which is nothing. You left it alone. The number is small at first, embarrassingly small next to how long you'll wait, a few $100s showing a few dollars of growth, and a quiet voice asking what the point even is. The point is invisible right now, and enormous later, and the only people who ever see the later are the ones who survive the boredom of the now. This is the first level where your money does work you didn't do. You sleep, and a few dollars appear that you didn't earn with an hour of your time. It's a trickle. It feels like nothing, but the entire architecture of real wealth, all the way to the top of this video, is just this one moment scaled up. The moment your money starts earning alongside you, instead of waiting for you to earn it all yourself. You also start tracking your net worth now. One number, assets minus debts, checked once a month. Most people never look at this number their entire lives, and you genuinely cannot grow what you refuse to measure. You don't tell anyone the number, you just watch it, quietly, and for the first time it's pointed up. Level 5, the level that looks like the destination. From the outside, you've made it. The house is real. There's a mortgage, but it's yours. And rent, pure expense. 30 years of paying for the privilege of leaving with nothing is behind you. The retirement account has real weight now. You take a vacation, and the money keeps coming while you're gone. You buy what you need without the running tally in the back of your head. Your friends would call you comfortable. Your parents would call you successful. And this is the most dangerous level on the entire ladder. Not because it's hard, because it's pleasant. Comfortable is where the climb quietly ends for almost everyone, and they never notice it stopping. The pressure that drove you through the lean levels is gone. The job pays well, the house is nice, and building anything more feels unnecessary, maybe even a little excessive. So, the saving slows. The lifestyle creeps up to match the income. The raise becomes a nicer car instead of a larger gap. And 20 years pass in total comfort with the net worth barely moving, because comfortable doesn't feel like failure. It feels like arriving. The quietly wealthy do something strange here that the loud never understand. They get comfortable, and then they refuse to spend the comfort. The income rises, and they hold the lifestyle still. The gap between what they earn and what they actually live on doesn't shrink as they make more. It widens. That discipline is completely invisible. From the outside, they look identical to the neighbor who spends every raise. The only difference is a number growing in silence that nobody else can see. This is the level that separates the two kinds of rich for good. Loud wealth arrives here and starts decorating. Quiet wealth arrives here and keeps climbing without telling anyone it hasn't stopped. If you're finding this useful so far, drop a comment with what level you're currently at. I'm genuinely curious, and it helps more people find the video. Now, let's keep going, because the next few levels are where things get really interesting. Level 6, the level where money buys time. You kept the gap open, and you pointed it at something new. Not more things. Time. You filled every tax-advantaged account first. The full $30,000-ish, a year of space, the system actually gives you to compound somewhere it can't be taxed to death. The 401k, the Roth IRA, the HSA if you have access to one. Then you built the thing that changes the actual nature of your daily life. Income that doesn't need you sitting in a chair for it to arrive. A rental property, a small business, something online that earns while you sleep. The first month, a few $100s lands that isn't tied directly to your hours, and it's a different feeling entirely from a paycheck, because a paycheck stops the moment you stop, and this doesn't. This is the first dollar that doesn't care whether you showed up today. Here's the quiet truth of this level. Up to now, if you stopped working, your life collapsed inside 6 months. You had a good income, but you were renting it from an employer one day at a time. That's not wealth. That's a well-paying leash. And the nicer the salary, the more comfortable the collar feels, and the less you notice it's even there. Now there's a second stream. It's small, but it's yours. In a way, your salary never was. And it points at the one thing loud wealth genuinely cannot purchase, no matter how much it spends. The loud man buys a faster car to save 9 minutes on the commute, and then sits in the same traffic as everyone else. You're buying something he can't, because it doesn't come with a logo, and it doesn't photograph, and the only person who'll ever feel it is you. You're buying back your own time, quietly, 1 hour at a time. Level 7, the level where money buys options. The streams grew. There's real money now, somewhere well past comfortable, well into what most of the country would call wealthy, and the texture of your days has changed in a way that's almost impossible to see from the outside. You say no now. That's the whole level. You turn down the work that doesn't fit. You walk away from the deal that isn't right instead of taking it because you need it. Because for the first time, you don't need any single one of them. When something breaks, it's a phone call, not a crisis. When you want a week away, you take it, and nothing back home notices you're gone because the money keeps working without you watching. This is where the quiet wealthy and the loud wealthy stop being the same species. The loud man at this level used his money to add weight. The bigger house with the bigger upkeep, the boat that needs a crew, the lifestyle that now requires the high income to sustain it. So that for all his money, he is somehow more trapped than he was 2 levels down. He bought a cage and decorated it beautifully and calls the decoration freedom. You use the exact same money to remove weight. You're not trapped by anything you own because you deliberately don't own the things that end up owning their owner. Your costs are lower than your income by a wide, quiet margin. And that gap, still the same gap you opened back at level 3, has become the most valuable thing in your life. It's not really money anymore. It's optionality. The ability to walk away from anything, to wait, to choose. Nobody can see optionality. There's no object that represents it. It's the single most expensive thing on this ladder so far, and it is completely invisible to everyone but the person who owns it. By now, you understand that's not a side effect. It's the entire point. Level 8, the level where money compounds without you. You crossed a line that has a name. The first million, liquid and invested. Not the house, not the cars, the working money, the kind that earns. And the strangest thing happens. The money starts outrunning you. You sit still. You keep your lifestyle exactly where it was. You add nothing. You change nothing. And the number grows by more in a quiet year than you used to earn working a loud one. $30,000, $40,000 appears without you touching the principal or trading a single hour for it at a standard 4% return. $1 million generates $40,000 a year indefinitely. Leave it alone long enough, and it doubles on its own. The thing you built to work alongside you has quietly become better at making money than you are. And right here, at the exact moment it would be easiest to finally let go and live like it, the quietly wealthy do the most counterintuitive thing on the entire ladder. They add nothing. The brain screams for it. You crossed 1 million. Surely now the nicer house, the better car, the lifestyle that finally matches the number. But every one of those purchases does something nobody warns you about. It doesn't just cost the price tag, it costs everything that price tag would have become. The decades of compounding you just traded for something that depreciates the moment you own it. The loud man crosses 1 million and immediately spends his way back into needing to work. He converts freedom into objects and then has to go re-earn the freedom. You don't. You watch the number grow and you keep living the life you already proved you were content with 3 levels ago. The discipline is invisible. The restraint is invisible. The growing number is invisible. From the outside, you are indistinguishable from someone with far less, and that indistinguishability is now something you choose, because being underestimated is itself a kind of wealth, and you've grown to prefer it. Level 9, the level where the wealth disappears completely. This is the top of what one person can build quietly, and from the outside, it doesn't exist. There are several streams now, and stacked together, they cover everything your life costs, and then some. Every single month, whether you work or not, you don't have a job in the way most people mean that word. You may still work, but the money was never the reason, and that changes the work into something closer to play. You're not saving anymore. You're allocating, deciding where capital goes, which is a completely different activity from earning it, one most people never get to do because they never get past trading their hours for income. And the wealth has gone fully invisible, not hidden, invisible. You could sit beside the loud version of this level on a flight, and he'd assume you had a fraction of what you have, because everything that signals money to him is absent from you. No watch announcing the hour, no logo doing the talking, the plain jacket, the older car kept because it still runs fine and you have nothing to prove. The better table handed to someone else without a second thought. He would probably feel a little sorry for you, and you would feel the thing you felt since level 2, sitting calm in your chest where his sits loud on his wrist, because here is what the whole climb was actually about. Every loud purchase all the way up the ladder is a person paying money to be seen as free. The watch says he doesn't worry about time. The car says he doesn't worry about money. The logo says he's arrived. Every object is a sentence spoken to strangers. Look how little I have to worry about. Look what I've built. Look at me. You stopped needing to say the sentence somewhere around level 5, and by now you've forgotten the language entirely. That's the secret the loud kind never learns. No matter how high they climb, they spend their whole lives buying louder and louder ways to tell people they're free, and the telling itself is the proof that they aren't, because a genuinely free person has no one left they need to convince. So here's where you started this video. 2 kinds of rich. One you can see from across the room, one you'd walk right past. 9 levels, 9 moves, $100 account you leave alone, $1,000 buffer that turns crises into inconveniences. A gap between income and spending that you keep open and keep widening. Money that earns alongside you. A comfortable level you refuse to get stuck in. Time bought back one stream at a time. The ability to say no. A million that compounds without you. And finally, streams that cover everything while the whole thing quietly disappears from view. Loud wealth spent a fortune to be noticed. Quiet wealth spent a lifetime, dollar by quiet dollar, buying the one luxury that costs the most and shows the least. The freedom to disappear, and the person who has it never needs to tell you. That's exactly how you'd know, if they ever let you close enough to see. If this is the kind of content you want more of, subscribing actually helps me make it. The algorithm pays attention to that more than most people realize. And if you want to see what each wealth level actually looks like in daily life, from waking up homeless to the moment you stop checking your balance entirely, I made a full breakdown of that. It's worth watching back to back with this one. It's right here.